Hey kids, ready? I'm ready. Ready to learn with you today and have some fun along the way because you're awesome and amazing. There isn't anyone in the whole wide world who can do what you can do. So, are you ready? Ready to learn with me today and have some fun along the way? Ready, set, go! Perfect. We're going to start today reading some Christmas stories because I love Christmas time and I love the holidays. I hope you're doing some fun things with your family. The first book we're going to read is a fun one called Santa Mouse. This book is by Michael Brown and it's illustrated by Nina Barbarsky. Once, well, let's do it this way so you can see the little mouse. He's so cute. Once there was a little mouse who didn't have a name. He lived in a great big house, this mouse, the only mouse in the whole wide house. On Christmas Eve, he brushed his teeth, and as he washed his paws, he thought, my goodness, no one gives a gift to Santa Claus. He ran and got a piece of cheese, and after he had found it, the paper of some chewing gum, he quickly wrapped around it. And then he climbed in bed and dreamed that he was lifted high and woke to find that he was looking right in Santa's eye. I thank you for my gifts, said Santa. Tell me what's your name? I haven't any, said the mouse. You haven't? That's a shame. You know, I need a helper as I travel house to house. And I shall give a name to you. I'll call you Santa Mouse. Oh, that's how he got his name. So here's your beard, and here's your suit, and here's each tiny, shiny boot. You mustn't sneeze and don't you cough. Just put them on, and we'll be off. And so this Christmas, if you please, beneath the tree that's in your house, why don't you leave a piece of cheese? You know who'll thank you? Santa Mouse, that's right. That's a fun one. Now, I'm going to tell you about one of Santa Mouse's adventures. This book is called Santa Mouse, Where Are You? There's Santa Mouse. Can you see him? Every year around December, we're excited as can be, for that's when we remember it's time to get our tree. We don't want a tree that's too tiny or too tall to fit our house. The tree we want has got to be just right for Santa Mouse. Santa Mouse is Santa's helper. He goes with him every year, and it really isn't Christmas unless they both appear. Santa brings the gifts that come for you and me, while Santa Mouse takes tiny ones and climbs up in the tree. He puts them right next to the trunk or way out on a limb. If a gift is in the branches, then you know it came from him. Now, once upon a time, someone who looked a lot like you was putting lights upon a tree, some green, some red, some blue. When suddenly this person said, you know what there should be? A light right at the very top so Santa Mouse can see. That was very thoughtful, wasn't it? It took a little help, of course, to set that special light, but finally when bedtime came, it looked exactly right. away up high above the rest. It shed a gentle beam, and when Little Eyes grew sleepy, it was shining in a dream. Now, far off in his workshop, Santa Mouse was wrapping toys. He was hurrying to finish up his gift for good girls and boys. As he hunted for a ribbon, suddenly this happy fellow gave a whistle of surprise. He had found one that was yellow. He had needed something special for a very special present, but then someone was calling in a voice so deep and pleasant. "It's time to travel, Santa Mouse. You know we can't be late." And Santa stepped into his sleigh. The reindeer just won't wait. So Santa Mouse came running with his present at his side, and he leapt for Santa's shoulders. It was time to take a ride. Off they flew as fast as lightning. Santa Mouse was holding on, but he felt his present slipping. Then, my goodness, it was gone. He cried, "Stop!" and tried to save it. Then he fell right off the sleigh. But old Santa didn't know it, and the sleigh sped on its way. He was falling, calling Santa, but with darkness all around, there was no one out to hear him. He was headed for the ground. Uh-oh. All at once he thought of something, tucked his whiskers in his suit, took the paper and the ribbon, and produced a parachute. Then kerplunk, he hit a snowbank and he disappeared from sight. But he crawled out with his gift and looked around him in the night. And he thought, "Now I am lost. Everything is cold and bare. What I must do is find a house and wait for Santa there." All around the wind was blowing, and it chilled him through and through. It seemed to whisper, "Santa Mouse, where are you? Where are you?" "Here I am," he shouted bravely as he trudged on through the snow, holding tightly to his present, as if that could keep him warm. He sat down and with a sniffle tied a ribbon with a bow. Then he noticed something funny. On the bow, there was a glow. Somewhere near, a light was shining. Up he jumped, and it was true, for a tiny golden glimmer was gleaming through the blue. Remember how one special light was placed for Santa Mouse? That very light now lit the way for him to reach the house. He crept inside with his gift and climbed up in the tree, then went to sleep to wait for Santa, just like you and me. And that's where Santa found him, late at night upon his way. He picked him up and kissed him. Then he tucked him in his sleigh. So this year, when it's Christmas and you decorate your tree, why not put one light upon it that's as high up as can be? You may find a tiny present Christmas morning in your house. If it's tied with yellow ribbon, then who brought it? Santa Mouse, that's right. Nice job. All right, that's fun to learn about Santa. Now, this story was written a long, long time ago. And it's kind of a fun one. The original story is right here. It's called "'Twas the Night Before Christmas," and it was by Clement C. Moore. But we're going to read a little different version. It's "The Little Critters' Night Before Christmas." Does that look fun? I think the little critters are funny. He's kind of a funny little guy, and we're going to read and see what he has to say. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Oh, look. He's putting out his cookies for Santa. Was the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that Santa Claus soon would be there. We were nestled all snug in our beds while visions of sugar plums danced in our heads. And Mom in her kerchief and Dad in his cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but an old-fashioned sleigh with 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles, his reindeer they flew, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Donner, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen. So up the housetop the reindeer flew, with a sleigh full of toys and Santa Claus too. And then in a twinkle I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney Santa Claus came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. Can you see him peeking at Santa? His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His comical mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. He had a broad face and a round little belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all the stockings and turned with a jerk. Then laying a finger aside of his nose and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim ere he drove out of sight. I think he said, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. That's kind of a fun story. I bet you've heard that one before. All right, we're going to read the story of Howard B. Wigglebottom and the Power of Giving, a Christmas story by Howard Brinklow and Susan F. Cornelison. Oh, there's Howard. Can you see him? It was Christmas, the season for giving. But for Howard B. Wigglebottom, it was the season for getting. Getting new things made Howard happy for a while, but soon he would get bored and want more stuff. Howard, you need to learn to share, said his mom. But Howard wasn't listening. Mine! Mom, I'm almost finished with my list for Santa. Oh, Howard, sighed his mom, you already have way more than you need. But Howard was not paying attention. He was listening to TV commercials and ideas to add to his Christmas list. "Howard, we are going to be going to your cousin's tomorrow," said his mom. "Pack lots of warm clothes." But Howard wasn't listening. He was packing his toys instead. Uh-oh. Howard and his family arrived at the train station just in time. As he was getting on the train, his big bag got caught in the door and the toys spilled all over. When he hopped off to grab them, the doors closed and the train left. Howard was all alone. Uh-oh. Unsure where to go, Howard started walking. It was really cold. Howard had no money, no food, and no phone. His toys were really heavy, but there was no way he was leaving them behind. He heard noises around him. Howard wasn't alone. He started to run, but the noises followed him. He found a place to hide. As he stood there cold and alone, he saw a family having dinner. It made him really hungry. Howard began to cry. The tears froze on his cheeks. He thought, "I wish I could be warm and home with my family. Will I ever see them again?" He sat down outside the window, and soon he fell asleep. When Howard woke up, he found a tiny voice saying, "Are you Santa Bunny? I have a letter for you." He jumped up and grabbed his things, yelling, "Leave me alone!" He was about to run, but he tripped and rolled all the way down the hill. Stuck and unable to move, he watched his toys being grabbed. He tried to scream, but he couldn't because his mouth was full of snow. Howard became a giant snowman. Oh, wow. There's Howard. Look how tall he is. Wow. "We just want to help, Santa Bunny," said the birds as they put the toys back in the bag. "We love you." Howard felt sad and ashamed. They weren't after his toys. Homeless like him, they were just trying to help. The bluebird gave Howard a piece of paper. You see, he's handing him a piece of paper. Can you see that piece of paper right there? "Dear Santa Bunny," it read, "I will be grateful if I can belong to a loving family." Howard felt sad and ashamed again. He had a very loving family he took for granted. He asked the others for their wishes: a warm bed, food, and someone to say, "I love you," they all answered. Right then, he decided to help take them all home. He made a wish himself. "Dear Santa, please forget my other list. What I really want is to appreciate the good things I already have. Please help me." Singing Christmas carols under the stars, they flew together until they found Howard's house. Howard was happy to get back home. After feeding his friends and tucking them into bed, he stayed up a little longer to look at his favorite toys. He had too much stuff. Howard picked a special toy for each one of his new friends. He couldn't wait to see their faces when they opened their presents. He had never felt this joy before, the joy of giving from his heart. If I could only have my family back again, Howard wished. He would tell them he was sorry for his old selfish ways. Just then the door opened, and there they were. Howard, we've been looking all over for you, said his mom. How did you find your way home, you smart little boy? My new friends helped me, Howard said. Howard told his family everything that had happened. Can they stay over the holidays? Of course, we would love to have them, said his family. The next evening at Christmas dinner, Howard learned his parents were working on finding a home for each one of his new friends. Mine, Howard shouted suddenly. Everyone stopped and stared. Just kidding, he said. I'm into giving and sharing now. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas, everyone. Did Howard learn how to help other people and to be happy? He did, didn't he? When we're sharing with other people and we're trying to make other people happy, it makes ourselves happy. It's really important that we do what we need to do to make others happy. And when we do things for somebody else, it helps us be happy. Does Howard look much happier now? That's a fun story. I hope you have a super fun Christmas. I loved reading stories to you today. And I always love being with you. You are incredible. See you later, alligator. In a while, crocodile. You're awesome, possum. See you soon.